Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2019 Ford F-150 and I want to walk through how to install Firestone's Air Command wireless air compressor. It's going to be a single zone air compressor, and what's nice about it is we can use our cell phone to add and decrease the air pressure in our bags. Now, with being a single zone, this is going to be more designed for maybe you have a camper that you pull all the time, you have a certain setting that you like the airbags to be at. Once you hook up your trailer, you turn on your cell phone, open the app, and set it to the pressure you want. It's automatically going to fill them up. That being in mind, if you pull several trailers, there are dual zone air compressors that you can find here at etrailer.com. With this being a wireless system, we're not going to have to get out of the vehicle each time, air the vehicle or air the bags up from the back of the vehicle, and then have an air gauge in our hand to check the air pressure. We can either do it from inside of our vehicle or standing outside next to it. We'll be able to read all that and maintain the air pressure with the use of our cell phone. That being said, if we're out on a trip somewhere and our compressor happens to not be functioning properly, we're still going to have a manual valve to be able to add or decrease air pressure. This system is going to give us 120 pounds max of air pressure. Keep in mind you don't want to exceed your airbag's maximum air pressure. It's going to draw 11 amps. Another thing to keep in mind is this kit will not work with or is not compatible with Firestone's red label kits. This kit is pretty simple and straightforward to install. It's going to come with all the necessary hardware and fittings. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's walk you through how to get it installed. Starter installation. It's going to make it a lot easier if you remove your spare tire and your heat shield. Once you do that, you want to make sure all the air is out of your bags. Then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to connect one of the bags to the line on the other bag and then run it up to where we're going to be mounting our compressor. Now I decided to mount the air compressor right here on the outside of the frame rail. You're going to have a black and red wire come off. Your black wire is going to be ground. All I did was fed it through the frame rail. You want to make sure you clean it off so it's touching bare metal, and just use a salt tapper. When mounting this, just use it as a template, mark your holes, drill them, and then run some salt tappers in. You're going to do the ECU the same way. Since I mounted my compressor and everything on the passenger side frame rail, I'm actually going to take the line for the driver's side, pull it off, come back up my frame, and then run it across over to the passenger side. To take it off, all you're going to do is you're going to pull on it and you're going to push that end in. Just like that. Now to stay away from any of the moving parts, my heat, this bar right here is hollow from one side to the other. So I'm going to take my line, I'm going to run it right through it. And then where the passenger side is ran in, we can hook into our T. In your kit, you're going to have a fitting that looks like this. We're going to insert it right into this end on our compressor. Take a 1/2 inch wrench. You want to make sure that we're not twisting this so much that it's going to bend anything. We want to make sure that the thread locker that's on those threads is inserted in there good enough. We only want to tighten this until we engage 2 threads. And you want to go at least 2 threads. You don't want to go any less, but you also don't want to over tighten it. Then we're going to take an airline tube and make sure that the end's cut flat. We're going to insert it. Like that. We're going to make a loop. We're going to cut that line. We're going to add on a T-fitting. We're going to take another short piece. We're going to go from here to there in our ECU. Just like that. And what the loop is for any moisture that gets in the line or any debris. It has a place to settle. We're going to take the rest of our line, we're going to put it in the end of that T, and we're going to run this back to where our bags are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run it right along the top of the frame rail. And back to my first bag. From the valve on our compressor, made a loop, went into a T, cut a small piece off, went into my ECU, main line running back. What I did, I zip tied it here, ran through the frame rail all the way back to my first bag, came out right here, connected into another T, and then off the end of that T, this goes back to my valve on the back of the vehicle. I put a small line on, another T, and then connect it to the two lines coming from my bags. You see how I have it zip tied up here? This should help keep it secure. Anywhere where this line is touching this metal like this, I suggest putting something on it. What I'm going to do, since it's outside the frame rail here, you can use wire loom, anything like that, just to keep the metal from rubbing a hole in this airline tube. So our wiring harness, you're going to plug like this. It's going to hook into your ECU. Push it until you hear it click. And this wire, it's going right into the red wire coming from the compressor. Now, you can do this a couple different ways. You can cut these off and then hardwire them together with a butt connector, or you can just take this and we'll just tape it all the way up. On the opposite end of this, we're going to have three wires. You're going to have power, ground, and you're going to have a yellow wire. The yellow wire you will not be using, so you're going to make sure you put some on the end of it so you don't create a short somewhere. We're going to take this and we're going to run it up into our engine compartment, hook the negative and positive to the negative positive on the battery. Right along the top of my frame rail, zip tied to the factory wire in here to hold it up. Went behind my cab mount, and then went from here straight up into the engine compartment where the battery is. You're going to have a fitting that looks like this. It's going to go on the end of your air compressor. Take a 1/2 inch wrench, tighten it into place. Again, I'm going to make sure not over tightening. You have some black tube in your kit. It's going to look like this. You're going to take this and push it on to the end. You're going to make sure you cover all the barbs. Make sure you create a loop. I'm going to create a loop in it. We're going to put on our filter. Again, you want to make sure you push it over the barbs. What I'm going to do, I'm going to zip tie it right there. Now we can go up, we can make our connections to our battery. Now you're going to have a lot of extra wiring. What I did is just looped it up and zip tied it right here. Now we can connect our negative and positive to the battery. I'm going to use a 9/16 on my positive side. And I'll use a 10 millimeter on the negative side. So we're going to come with a fuse pre-installed. Once we have it hooked up, we'll go ahead and get connected to the cell phone and test everything out. With your cell phone, you're going to make sure your Bluetooth is turned on. Then you're going to download the app for the Air Command. Once you get it downloaded, you're going to open it. It's going to search for it, and it's going to pop up just like that. Then what you're going to do is we're going to go up to 70 psi. May require you to have your ignition on or your key turned on. Once you get to the target, we're going to check all the fittings with some soapy water for any air leaks. Just bring down the ends. And what we're looking for a bunch of little bubbles to be created. This is just the soap that I sprayed on, so it looks like we're good there. Now we'll do the same thing and check anywhere where our line is going into a fitting. Once you've checked all of your lines, you've determined if you have any leaks or not, made any adjustments necessary, you're ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at and installation on the Air Command wireless air compressor by Firestone on a 2019 Ford F-150.